All right. Good evening, everyone. It's about 9:30 on Monday, February 21st, and unfortunately, we got some severe weather in the area, so I wanted to give everyone an update on where we're at. And with that, let's just go straight to the radar. So, as you can see, we do have a severe thunderstorm that is just north of Fort Worth, really just north of Trophy Club and that area, Flower Mound, moving northeast. So it's got it's got a little hook on it. A lot of the circulation hasn't been close to the ground lately, so I don't know that we've had any lowering of the clouds in a funnel sense, but I guess we can find out. Let's go ahead and put the velocity on here and see what we got. Okay, definitely some rotation, but nothing, it seems, at the surface. So it looks like that weak rotation is just south of Justin. And obviously, the rotation is not to where the National Weather Service issued a tornado warning because the rotation is not at the surface, really more of a mid and loft. So, it's something that bears watching, but luckily nothing tightening up as we see. So let's go back to reflectivity here and kind of get to particulars. So, and we'll put this in motion and you'll kind of get an idea. So if this storm holds on its current track, since it goes into motion, we'll kind of get a better idea of what's going on here. And hopefully my computer won't freeze up. Well, while we're waiting on that, I'll just go ahead and tell you. As you can tell from the white line there, if you can see that, it's moving to the northeast. So at its current uh, trajectory, I should say. Can't even think of the right word. There we go. Finally moving. So you can kind of get an idea which way the storm's moving. So there's that storm that went northwest of Denton, had the hook signature. This storm right here is also moving to the east northeast, probably about 50 miles an hour. And so again, nothing, at least as I've seen in looking at reports and things like that, that there's any kind of lowering of that rotation. So that's definitely good news. But again, it's just something that definitely bears watching. So if you live anywhere within that severe thunderstorm polygon, I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. And so right now, the core of the storm is over Justin, North Lake, Argyle, heading up to Corinth, Little Elm, ultimately probably Frisco, especially the north side of Frisco. If you live in Prosper or Salina, you definitely want to watch this storm. Now, again, there haven't been any reports of lowering of the clouds in the sense of a funnel cloud or something like that. So we haven't had any tornado warnings, thankfully. As a matter of fact, let me get this off here real quick. There we go. So, but you just want to watch this storm closely. So if you don't live in the area of the polygon, if you know friends that live in Louisville, the Colony, Frisco, Salina, Prosper, Denton. Of course, Denton's kind of getting it already. If you know someone who lives in Aubrey, things like that, just tell them to be on the lookout for the storm. Probably what you're going to see is you're going to see definitely some stormy weather. We've already had hail reports, and it's probably hard to make out on this particular screenshot, but definitely had some hail reports, inch and a half. I think I saw a 2-inch hail report. So it's something that these storms are hail producers. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any tornadoes, thankfully, but they're definitely hail producers. So that's definitely what you want to watch out for. So if we scan out a little bit here, as you can see in the immediate Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex, not a whole lot's going on, thankfully. And this storm, if I can get my cursor to work here. So this storm right here was severe warned previously. As you can tell, it's kind of falling apart. So I had a question earlier, and by the way, in case you're wondering, yes, I don't normally dress up for y'all, no offense, but just got back from my city council meeting, so I was hoping that we would wrap that up, and so I can get on live and talk about the weather, and thankfully we were able to wrap that up and get to y'all, so I can get y'all a live report as opposed to just a text report. So, that's, like I said, that storm up in Denton County, it definitely looks scary, but it's not scary in the literal sense, and hopefully it'll stay that way, but it's definitely something worth watching. But the storms that were entering Tarrant County from the west definitely have have fallen apart. Now, someone asked me before about our capping inversion, earlier this evening, and believe it or not, there's still a little bit of a cap left, but obviously where you see these storms, the cap has been breached. And so again, that storm we saw earlier that went northwest, north, and northeast of Denton, that obviously broke the cap. This particular storm right here that's going to go probably south of Denton broke the cap. But as you can see, these storms that were severe warned in Parker County, they're now just falling apart and moving into Tarrant County. I think the cap is working on them a little bit. Now, that's not to say that that's going to be the case the rest of the night, but it's just something that bears watching. So for the moment, the cap is holding over Dallas-Fort Worth proper, I guess you could say. But as you can see, we are not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. So if we look way out to the west, and this is just east of Abilene, out near Eastland, Cisco, west of Mineral Wells right now, Breckenridge, Graham, way out there, not all of them, but severe storms that are definitely, there's definitely a few severe storms in there. And if you just we'll just take a look at this storm right here. This is out in Graham. 60-mile-an-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. So that's been a very common severe weather parameter for us tonight. I think at the very minimum, you're starting to see. Let's see if I can get my highlighter to work here again. So not really in these particular storms. Well, no, that doesn't work. Let's see. Let's go back over here. So, not these storms in particular, but what we're watching for is these bowing structures right here. So if we start to see these become more defined, then that's when we know we're definitely going to have a more of a severe weather, more of a damaging wind threat as opposed to hail. Now, the hail is not completely out of the question in these type of storms because as you can see in these storms out here, you can see a lot of hail reflectivity in these storms. So that would obviously be a not a good scenario to where you had wind-driven hail, but it's something that definitely bears watching. So if we put this into motion, we can get a better idea of the movement of the storm. So generally, the movement of the storms, as you can see, are east-northeast. So again, if you remember from my report earlier in the morning, we thought that the worst of the weather would be northwest of Dallas-Fort Worth, but it's always tricky because this instability axis was going to set up somewhere, and not for our friends to the northwest of us, but so far most of that instability axis is to the northwest of us. So that's why we see these storms kind of missing Dallas-Fort Worth, at least for now, and hopefully it'll stay that way. Well, my phone's going crazy. Okay. All right. So let's scan out here a little bit more here and get a better idea. Now, I will say, if you look up in Oklahoma, now, like I said, so there's really two aspects to this severe weather setup, a tornado aspect and then basically a severe thunderstorm aspect. So we have a severe thunderstorm watch for us until 2 a.m. And then the Storm Protection Center issued a tornado watch for really far northeast Texas. So if you live in the Paris area, or people that live in the Paris area, and then eastern Oklahoma into Arkansas. That's really where the bigger tornado threat is going to be. The atmosphere is going to be set up and be much more conducive for tornadoes in that part of the world. Doesn't mean we can't have one here, but it's something that we definitely want to watch. All right, so you can kind of get a general idea of the storm motion. So unfortunately, what this means is that these storms that are out west of us, a couple hours away, if they hold together, then that's something we'll have to deal with after midnight. That's not any fun for anybody because hey, we all want to go to sleep. We don't want to get woken up, and we certainly don't want to get woken up to a hailstorm. That's for sure. So hopefully these storms will behave enough to where we won't have to deal with that, but we'll have to see. All right, so let's zoom back in on our Denton County storm and see what we got going on here. Okay, so. Not a whole lot has changed with it structure-wise. Not as much as a pronounced hook. Now, and again, remember, just because there's, a quote-unquote hook, it doesn't mean that there's always a tornado. And as you can see, it doesn't look very pretty. It's kind of scary looking for sure, but it doesn't always mean there's a tornado. So that's why we like to look at these different layers on the radar. And so here's a great example. So this is the velocity mode on the Doppler radar. And as you can see, there is no tight circulation really anywhere here. You do see some change in wind direction just to the east of 35W. So that's going to be, like I said, that's going to be north of Trophy Club, more in the, like I said, the Lantana, Highland Village, and then, just south of Argyle. Then, like I said, it's moving in the general direction of Corinth and Shady Shores, Little Elm. And eventually, if it held together like this, Frisco and Prosper, it maybe even Salina. And so, but again, right now, there's nothing really to be concerned about. We're not talking about a tornado. It doesn't mean one couldn't spin up. But right now, it's just something that if you know anybody within that polygon area, you just shoot them a text, give them a call, shoot them a social media message, however you communicate with them. And just if they're not paying attention, then you just have them pay attention a little bit more. All right, so let's see if we can look at some hail signatures here. And that's not the one I want, so let's go here. Well, that's the correlation coefficient. That's for tornadoes, so we don't want that. Why is my... Let's see. All right, my radar doesn't want to behave tonight. Let's go down here. Let's see. Let's try this one. Yeah, so let's see. Don't see a big hail signature by any means. So that's good. So I think that's kind of died down a little bit. All right, well, definitely something we want to watch. Yeah, okay, so you can kind of tell that makes a lot more sense now. Because, as a matter of fact, I would say that there's probably not, maybe very small hail that's in this particular storm now. It's the structure of the storm is kind of losing its characteristics a little bit, which is good. But it might be that the capping inversion is working on that. Now you go further north here to our friends in far northern Texas, Gainesville, Sherman. Hello, Stacy, if you're watching. So these storms here are definitely moving east northeast, and if you know anybody that lives up this way, like Texoma, up that way, yeah, there's not even a warning for these storms yet, but you definitely see very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, definitely some gusty winds, and that's something that we'll have to watch and see if those storms start to pick up again. I wouldn't be surprised, although the Weather Service will probably not see when it's supposed to expire. Okay, 10 o'clock. So we're 15 minutes away. Unless this storm gets nasty again, I don't know that they're going to extend it to the east or extend this warning, but wouldn't be shocked either way. So that's good news for that. All right. So looking good at the moment. Now let's turn our attention back west. So these storms are starting to mean business, unfortunately. So let's do some data on these storms here. All right, so oops, no, I don't want that one. Let's try this one over here. There we go. All right, so let's see what we got here. And actually, I don't want that. Let's try. I'm trying to see what these hail cores look like, but I don't see. Let's see. Let's try this. Well, definitely got some hail in there, but let's try this other layer here. Okay, so yeah, this definitely tells us a little bit more about what's going on here. So definitely got larger hail in this core, which is near Graham. Now again, on its current trajectory, it would be north. It would move north and northwest of the metroplex. So let's go back to the reflectivity mode here. Let's see. Yeah. So again, these are just storms we're going to have to watch. Like I said, it's about 9:45. And I would say that, if these hold together, then we're probably looking at, depending on what side of the Metroplex you live in, maybe on the western side of the Metroplex, 11:30. On the eastern side of the Metroplex, probably, closer to 1 a.m. If they hold together, we'll have to make sure that I'll be watching them. Obviously, although I'd really rather not worry about it and just go to bed. But I don't know if that's going to be in the cards tonight. All right, so before I sign off on this particular stream, let's look at the comments. Hello, Garrett. How are you? Kara says that's a terrible word when it comes to this weather hook. Yes, Kara, it's not my favorite word to say either. I know these comments are a little dated, so I apologize. Amy, it looks scary. Yeah, but it's not as scary as it was. And Garrett put his car in the garage. That's good. Jan, you're welcome. Christy, you love the Polygon, and her son lives in Salina. Oh, my goodness. Well, Christy, I'm sure by this time, since that was probably 10 minutes ago, you made that comment, and I'm sure you've already contacted him. But it's looking better for him, so... and Elizabeth, you're very welcome. I love looking out for y'all. And Misty, what's it look like down your way? Misty, my good friend from high school. It's not looking too bad down your way because most of this stuff is going to stay up our way. So that's probably good news for you. Not necessarily good news for us. Probably good news for you. All right, so let's go ahead and stop this if I can. And actually, don't know. There we go. All right, so I'm going to sign off for now, but here's the latest. So this storm in Denton County is not looking near as organized, so that's good. But we have to watch it. And unless something pops up between these storms and the storms that are out near Breckenridge, west of Mineral Wells, which are probably an hour or so away, depending on where you live, maybe 2 hours away, then we probably shouldn't have a lot to worry about, but it's something that we definitely want to keep an eye on. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on it. And I can almost assure you, unless something pops up between now and then, I'm not going to be wearing my good clothes. I'll be a little more comfortable. Like I said, I had to, get home from council and get y'all updated real quick. All right, so that's it for now. Like I said, nothing too urgent at the moment. As always, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. I will be back if I need to. If it's late, then it would probably be more of a text update. If it's not too late, or if it's just something that we just need to talk about live, I will definitely do that. I appreciate everyone watching, and we'll talk to you soon.